I found out about this one because, you know what, we're going to let the dogs chill. There you go. Have fun, guys. What's up, guys? Nick Major here with Idobi Radio, the internet's #1 station for pop punk and alternative music, where 24/7 you can tune in to catch music, shows, live performances, interviews, and more with all of your favorite artists, including With Confidence. So be sure to head to idobi.com or download our free app and tune in today. But for right now, I'm going to be chatting with Confidence frontman Jayden Seeley. Our dogs are going to meet each other, going to talk about the band's new self-titled album, him exploring a career as a writer and producer, plus the man is engaged, talking about all this and a lot more. So once again, this is Jayden Seeley.
I just wish that I could feel anything. Take my skull and kick it in. Anything, break me down and spin me out. Anything, don't need everything, just want anything.
This is going to rival footage of the moon landing. The two Frankensteins meeting each other.
Hi, Frankenstein. Hi, Frankenstein.
So I guess just to set up what's happening, we both happen to have dogs named Frankenstein. I didn't know anyone else would be naming their dog Frankenstein, but when I found that out, I was like, you know what? These dogs have to meet. They have to be friends with each other for the rest of their lives, and it looks like they're getting along pretty well with each other.
They're hitting it off.
So tell me about your Frankenstein. When did you get him? Yeah, how long has it been? What's this dog all about?
So his full name is Frank N. Stein.
Oh, so it's like 3 names? Frank N. Stein?
Yeah, his middle name is Napoleon. He's a rescue.
Nice.
We got him almost 3 years ago, about 2 years ago. And we were talking to a rescue for a while, and we were looking at this one pup that was really cute, which we didn't end up getting him, because he went to a family with kids and they really wanted to put him with kids. And they were really apologetic because we were so excited. And they were like, look, we'll keep an eye out. Like, the next good dog that comes in, he's yours. And it was this little guy, Frankenstein. And he is the best boy. He is the most well-behaved. He is such a lover.
Franklin, Napoleon, whatever, Stein. Nice to meet you. I hope that you like my Frankie, who I just got back in like July.
Yeah.
And
so what's his story? Yeah.
So my last dog was Dracula, so I had to get Frankenstein as the next one because I got to keep it horror themed. I wasn't planning on getting a dog, but then I found out about this one because we're going to find out pretty quickly. You know what? We're going to let the dogs chill on the floor, do their own thing. There you go. Have fun, guys. I wasn't expecting to get a dog, but then I found out about her. She was just, I felt bad. She wasn't like from a rescue place, but she was just in a backyard of these people who they had unfixed dogs that just mated with each other and made passionate love. And then they had a bunch of puppies and they didn't know what to do with them. So she was like free, covered in fleas in this dirty backyard. And since I lost my dog in October, I was like, you know what? Let's bring a new dog into my life. It's about time. And of course, again, Frankenstein, Dracula. So she's been sweet, still training her, but it's good to have her around. Well, I was hoping they'd peacefully sit next to each other for the whole chat, but that obviously wasn't going to happen.
To meet each other.
But it gave us a reason to get together because, dude, we never hang out. We never chat. And I will take responsibility because I'm horrible at hitting people up and I'm horrible at meeting up with people.
You hit me up for this.
I did. The moment I found out you had a Frankenstein, I was like, this has to happen. So glad I could see you. I saw you not too long ago at On the Rocks for Fish's birthday.
Yes, I was DJing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, actually, you were back at On the Rocks and I made this wonderful flyer that is now
with
hanging
Gone
up
on the
on
Rocks.
the wall.
That was probably one of my favorite puns of all time.
I thought that was genius because On the Rocks, it's a poppin' venue out here, which if anybody knows Machine Gun Kelly, he mentions it in his song. And actually, MGK was out at Fish's birthday.
He showed up at Fish's birthday.
Yeah.
Get this right. As soon as he came into the room, I was unaware that he did, but I played Bloody Valentine. And literally as soon as him and Megan Fox walked in,
no big deal,
Bloody Valentine starts playing. And he was so stoked, I guess, that he came straight to the DJ decks and he was like, dude, this is my favorite song. And
so sick.
I had no idea who he was. Like, I didn't recognize him.
It's so dark, by the way.
It's so,
inside On
it's
the
so
Rocks,
dark
you
in
cannot
there.
see a thing.
So I just thought it was some random dude telling me he liked this song. And I'm like, thanks, man. And then he like looked me dead in the eyes and he's like, no, I like this song. And then I look to his right, and it's Megan Fox, and I'm like...
That's what gave it away, Megan
And I'm like,
Fox.
oh, you like this song? I'm like, what's up, dude?
This is your song.
That was a crazy night.
And I saw you were out at Emo Night the other night as well.
Yes, I was able to DJ Emo Night, which is so sick, because it's like such a cool party. It was like my first thing that I did when I came to LA for the first time, was just like go as a patron, you know, and get really drunk and party and listen to emo bangers. And now I've DJ'd it twice, and both times were equally as fun. You know? So sick.
The world's opening back up to an extent. We don't know what's happening with this Delta variant and all that, but
to an extent,
getting to go out to this stuff is fun, at least. But obviously the last year and a half we have been in a lockdown, and I know that your life since like 2016, well, even before that, I guess, but I met you in 2016, and that's when I think that's when you guys got onto Hopeless. That's when you guys you jumped on Warped Tour, which is where I really got to know you. And you've just been touring, writing music, but the past 18 months has not let you do that.
Yeah.
And I know that you've actually been able to do a lot of cool stuff because of that. It seems like you've really been able to kind of focus more on the writing and producing side of stuff with other artists. You guys obviously just put out your self-titled album as well. And I want to touch more in depth about all these things, but also in November, you put together the sickest studio that's like in a garage that you turned into a studio, and it looks so awesome. So back to what I first brought up, I guess, how in this pandemic, when you'd usually be out on the road, you'd be playing shows, how has it allowed you to kind of focus more on the behind the scenes writing stuff, which it seems like in 2018 when you guys did Love and Loathing and you worked with Mike Green, that really kind of opened up your eyes to a world that you loved in regards to production and writing, which Mike Green is such a legend. So
such a legend.
That was sick.
Dude, great question. Yeah, it was in 2018 when we did the album with Mike that I realized that I could do that. Like, that was a thing that I was able to do, is write for other artists and write for other, you know, bands, and be the guy doing like the production behind the scenes. And I just, it never really clicked as a dude in a band that was like an avenue that I could take. And it was from a co-write with Mike where he just sat me aside and he said, look, did you ever think about doing this? And from then I've just been writing with other people and doing production, and it's like the best thing I ever did. It's just like, it's made me such a better musician and a better writer. And, it's, I don't know, it's my favorite thing in the world, being able to create something different for someone new every single day. And yeah, the studio was, you know, at the start of the pandemic, you know, I knew that I was going to have a lot of time. Before that, obviously, I was writing with artists when I wasn't on tour, but I just dived straight in. I used some of my past construction knowledge. I used to work with my dad when I was a teenager.
Oh, nice.
He did roofing. It was a brutal job. So I used that knowledge, and I had the help of a friend, Christian, who does construction, and we just built this studio out of nothing in this shitty old garage in about like a month or two. And I've been there literally every single day since then, just creating.
And it looks like so professional and slick. How does it feel now being able to walk into that and you're like, whoa, this is like my space, dude, that I can do?
It's literally, as cliche as it is, it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
I wake up, I make a coffee, and I walk into my studio.
You walked into here with a coffee.
I always have coffee. But it's crazy. Like, you know, it's always nice and cool. There's always a stocked fridge of coffee and water and beer, and I just go in there and pick my guitar up or start playing piano, and I just create every day.
And you obviously you dropped the self-titled album for WithCon just a couple weeks ago. And it's your third album.
Yes.
Whenever a band drops an album and it's like self-titled, I'm like, there must be some significance behind it. Is it because is it a fresh start? Is it a turning point? What makes it so monumental? Or why was this the self-titled one? What era does this signify?
I think that's a great question, and we've had this a lot, and I don't think we've properly answered it yet. I would say the reason it's called self-titled is, yes, we are trying something new, and we are breaking out from just the standard pop punk formula that we have lived in for the past however many years. And I think it's a statement of, this is what we're doing. We are a band that likes to take risks. We are a band that isn't going to write the same song every single album over and over again. And this is what we're going to be moving forward. We're going to be genre fluid. We're going to be taking risks. We're going to do what we want to do and just try to write good music. You know, I think that's why it's called self-titled.
And you have been writing alongside so many artists. Like you did a track with Zach Hood, you know, Stereo Jane. Like you've done so many. And how do you think that has kind of helped with that new fresh direction in regards to, you've kind of had a chance, I feel like, to explore maybe different, not genres necessarily, but at least different avenues that you might not have been able to with WithCon, or maybe you didn't think you could at first, but now you can be like, hold on a second,
well,
this
dude,
is different.
yeah, it goes back to what I said. It's like I've learned so much about being a writer and being a musician that there's so much to music, and there's so many genres, and the possibilities are literally endless. But when you play in a band, so like with Confidence, where it's a pop punk band, right? You get stuck in certain ways of thinking, and it's a bit of a box sometimes, you know, like you can't really think outside of that. So having the privilege to be able to work with different artists and so many talented people, like in LA, the people here are incredibly talented. Like it's the home of some of the best artists and creators in the world, and I've had the pleasure of being able to work with someone like that over and over again. So I'm just constantly learning things from them, you know. And yeah, I got to take that new knowledge and go into my original project of With Confidence with all of these fresh ideas and this new knowledge, you know. I think it definitely helped me push the boundary a bit further. Yeah. And I'm honestly excited to just like keep pushing that boundary. Yeah.
And I think the first song, I think it was back in March that you guys dropped Big Cat Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And that was so long ago. I feel like that's the longest
that's
wait.
Crazy. That was March, huh?
Yeah. Wow. And you guys, you put out a video for that. And speaking of pop punk, Blink-182 is my favorite band of all time. I saw there was a little shot in there with the record store. Someone picks up Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
And amidst the video where there's just big cat heads going around the entire time. But we're talking about, you're obviously inspired by pop punk.
Yes.
Pop punk's made me who I am.
Sure.
And it's the genre that you work with. And it's been a weird time, I feel like, the 2020, 2021 for pop punk, because 2010, that's like the era that I really got into music. That's the era that you got into music. Yeah. And I feel like pop punk was at a weird time then, because it wasn't topping the radio charts like it was in the 2000s.
Yes.
And we had bands like Blink-182, Sum 41, Green Day that were huge. But now I kind of feel like we're seeing a resurgence. Like we have like Willow Smith just dropped a pretty pop punk song, and we have MGK, who we just mentioned. He put an entire pop punk album. Yeah. And there's Kenny Hoopla, like I love his stuff. And obviously with all these artists I mentioned, I believe Travis Barker is the drummer.
He's behind a lot,
on all these. But how do you feel about the state of pop punk right now? Do you think there's going to be a resurgence more? I mean, if you're in this scene, you know it's a thriving community. But I feel like it's been a minute since we've seen it. Radio hits and stuff like that. Do you see it kind of coming back the way that it may have been 15, 20 years ago?
I'm incredibly excited about it. It is, you're so right. It is such an exciting time for pop punk right now, which is why I'm like so stoked to be a part of all that behind the scenes stuff, because I can help facilitate this with my past knowledge, you know? Yeah. I can help be part of that new movement of what pop punk is today, you know? It's incredibly exciting. I think it will keep developing and keep moving. And I think it's taking on new characteristics, right? Like it doesn't sound like the pop punk from 2000, right? No. It has these fresh modern elements that like revitalize the genre, right? And it is crazy seeing like 14, 15, 16-year-old kids who have never heard of like Green Day and, you know, All American Rejects and Blink and like the things we grew up with, now listening to the Olivia Rodrigos and listening to
Rodrigo, there you go.
And listening to the MGKs and the Willows and thinking, wow, like this is so cool, this is so new, this is so fresh. Because it's just it's reinventing the genre that we know and love, but with all of the excitement of where like pop music is in 2021. It's crazy, and I think it will keep developing. For sure.
It's been fun to see, like, as TikTok blew up in COVID, everybody, yourself included, started using TikTok. Oh, I love it. I lose hours of my life on there.
You kill TikTok. I think your TikTok's great.
It's fun stuff. But one thing I've really loved to see is how it's been able to bring back old songs from back in the day. Like Simple Plan, they've had songs popping off in there, like I'm Just a Kid and stuff. And I just love the thought of these like 15, 16-year-old kids that have never heard it before. And then they're just all listening to it now. And it's just kind of like you said, I think it's because that's the genre that's closest to my heart. I'm like, that is so cool to see you guys getting in on it, but then hearing the next generation start to do it. And it gets me excited for the scene, for the genre of music that I've always just loved. So we'll see what happens with the future of it, but it seems like it's looking strong. Travis Barker is going to be somehow always involved, I have a feeling, with it.
100%. Like, it's going to be like 20 years from now, and he's still going to be behind the scenes and everything.
Yeah.
He is, like, without a doubt, the smartest member of Blink-182.
Oh, my God.
The guy is a genius and an absolute talent.
I think he's going to be marrying a Kardashian here before long, too. So.
I think, isn't he? Is he, like, dating a Kardashian?
Yeah, and he hinted at, like, he made a post that was, like, forever with you wasn't long enough. And then I was just like, okay.
Yeah, he's just living his life, you know?
So good for him. I love to see it.
I just wish that I could feel anything. Take my skull and kick it in. Anything, break me down and spin me out. Anything, don't need everything, just want anything.
You guys put out a music video for Anything?
Sure, yeah.
And that came out not long before the album dropped. And I didn't know if there was any throwbacks or references to movies in it or anything, for example, because there was a clip that looked very Clockwork Orange.
Yes, that was definitely a reference.
And then the dude with the mask and the smiley face, I didn't know if that was from this terrible Shane Dawson movie that came out in 2012 called Smiley.
There was a Shane Dawson movie?
Yeah, it was like a crappy horror movie that I haven't seen. Or it like reminded me of Strangers or something. And then there's like a scene where you have no arms and legs. And I was like, is that Monty Python? Like, what's going on here?
It's a flesh wound.
It's just a flesh wound, right? And that was a fun video. You're throwing knives all around your hand and around your body and stuff.
That was definitely real.
Was it a real knife?
Yeah, I cut myself a couple times.
Did you?
Yeah, it was kind of brutal.
Oh, but me being a movie lover, were there any homages to any films throughout that?
I think Clockwork was. I think that was the director's choice.
Yeah, okay.
I think he did that intentionally, which I'm all for because it's a great movie. I think that's probably the only reference, but
damn it, I really overthought that. I was like, once I saw that, I was like, this whole video, there must be movie references in it.
I mean, you know what? Maybe the director was doing stuff without my knowledge. I think the guy with the mask with the smile. I mean, that to me was just supposed to be like the forced happiness.
Yeah.
You know, like I was obviously when I wrote this song, I was like a little miserable and I was kind of just done. And, you know, a lot of people just tell you, like, fucking cheer up, dude. Like, you're good. I think that smiley person that is, like, literally torturing me while I'm just miserable is that. It's the, you know, personification of just cheer up, dude.
Another big thing that happened during COVID, though, was I believe you got engaged.
I got engaged, yeah.
What a big boy thing to do.
I know, right? It's weird.
How was that? Would that have happened without COVID? Were you guys together so much? You're like, all right, you know what? I guess we're in this for the long run.
You know what? I think it would have happened, but it was weird because with the lockdowns, Talia, my fiance, we were forced to like be with each other every single day, never separated, right? And I think that's the ultimate test for a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, usually I would be touring or like, you know, in someone else's relationship, you know, you'd be working the 9 to 5, you would go out and you'd come home and like, you wouldn't be together all the time. But Talia and I were literally together every single day. Like she wasn't working for a while there either. And we were doing great. Like we were thriving, you know, we were like having so much fun together. And at that point we'd already been together for years. So it's like when I saw that, there was no question. I was like, this is the best relationship I've ever had. I still love being around you. We can be with each other all the time and I don't get sick of you. And I fucking love her to bits, so it just made sense. So we drove back to upstate New York, which is where she's from, and I proposed in front of the house she grew up with, and I actually had Frankenstein, my dog, help. I put the ring on his collar, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to take Frank for a walk?" And basically, like when we're at the front of the driveway, long story short, I said, "Oh, like what's on Frank? Is Frank okay?" And you know, saw the ring and got down on one knee.
He stole a ring! Oh my god, he's a thief!
Oh my god, Frank's proposing!
Yes, Frankie.
It was really sweet. Yeah.
So I guess, are you going to be able to, if you get back on the road, because what's the future, the touring plans, everything with Con right now? Because you guys were supposed to do Slam Dunk, followed by some shows over there.
Yeah.
And then that got pushed a year. And then when that was going to happen again, you guys had to push it again. And I think some of the restrictions down under made that happen. But
yes.
So what's the future looking like in regards to the tours, to the shows? Because I know it just keeps getting pushed off, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really hard time for everybody. Yeah, we've mostly been fighting against the restrictions in Australia.
Because they've been strict there, I know.
Yeah, super strict. The lockdowns were like kind of heavy, you know, for good reason. But also, you know, there's a whole discussion about a botched vaccination rollout. Like the government didn't really handle it as well as they could have. That's my opinion. But Australia's getting back on track. Vaccination rollouts are doing better. And I think hopefully soon they're going to open back up. Right now we're looking at early next year is when we're going to start trying to plan stuff and, get back to touring, because I love this new album and I truly miss crowds. I miss playing. I miss performing. Like literally being at emo night the other night.
It just kind of reminds you. It brings you back.
It just reminds you of like that energy, right? Like being with people that are all just celebrating music. Like I miss that so much. So yeah, I think early next year is gonna be the return of touring with Con.
Yeah, that's awesome. And in our lobby, we have a video playing that I put together of all these different clips from idobi. And one of the clips that I have is when I came out to your guys' Chain Reaction show.
No shit.
And I filmed that video of you guys. Oh. And I was watching that earlier, and I was just like, damn, that's crazy to think that he hasn't done this stuff in like a year and a half or so. And I bet you're eager and excited to get back up there.
Dude, it's just like it's a part of me, I've been touring for like 6-7 years now, and it took up such a large part of my life, and to just have that taken away was incredibly strange. Like it was just a very strange experience. I feel like a part of me is missing. So yeah, I'm ready to revisit that part and reconnect with that old self.
Yeah,
for sure.
You definitely had a bit of a break. How has the year off kind of affected you mentally? Has it been a tough one for you? Have you found positivity in it?
Yes, which is it's a crazy thing. I think I am incredibly lucky to have had a positive experience from this.
Yeah.
I will never forget that. And I was able to, taking some time off the road helped mentally, I think, because touring full time does have a bit of an effect. And, I was also directing all of my time positively by doing production and writing, you know? So I was still creating, which is really, I just need to make music. If I'm making music, I'm happy, So I was able to do that. And, I think I'm in a really good place right now.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's good, because I know people, it was one way or the other. A lot of people were affected positively, negative during this. So that's great to hear. And I've seen, it seems like every day you post a new song that you've worked on, and I'm just like, wow. This dude's keeping busy. Holy crap.
A lot of songs.
Yeah.
A lot of songs.
So I did notice a couple months ago you changed your Twitter name.
I did.
From Jayden with Con to just Jayden Seeley with an underscore.
Yes.
And I don't know if that was you just kind of trying to also set yourself as an individual because you are doing the writing and producing stuff, or if there was a impending doom ending to with confidence or what. So what was the shift in Twitter name?
It's what you said. It's literally that a lot of my professional life has been redirected towards writing and production.
Yeah.
And I'm having so much success with a bunch of my artists that are now signing like major label deals, and our songs are getting like millions of streams. And it's like, this has kind of been my priority. So to have like a Twitter username that just says Jayden with Con doesn't really make sense right now, because a lot of that world is also on Twitter. So a lot of people will know me from my Zach Hood stuff or my Ryan Oakes stuff or whatever it might be. They'll be like, what's a WithCon? So yeah, Jayden Seeley on Twitter made way more sense, I think.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I had a feeling that was it, because I was like, I can tell this guy's
no impending doom. No, nothing to worry about.
Good. That's all I care about. And it sounds like you got shows planned. Everything else is looking hopefully bright in the future of the world, possibly opening back up.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and as you kind of work to explore just your kind of developing as a writer more and more, I think that's got to make it exciting for you to think about new WithCon stuff, because you're able to break new ground in this era that we can hopefully see pop punk music just really starting to thrive more than ever before, because it deserves to. We could have a whole chat on Blink-182 someday.
Oh my God.
But
please.
Yeah. And our camera guy, Tommy, that's his Oh, you know something cool about Tommy?
What
our
about
camera
Tommy?
guy? So Blink-182, he has a lifetime supply of Blink-182 tickets, because Blink-182, they had a contest like years ago, and you had to make a video using their lyrics.
No shit.
And the winner of the contest got lifetime Blink-182 tickets.
Holy shit.
And he was the winner.
Hey, I'm Tommy. I suck at getting girls, so today I'm going to see if Blink-182 lyrics can be used as pickup lines. Hi.
Hi.
Is it cool if I hold your hand?
Not exactly.
No
so
way.
if we ever want to go to Blink-182, this dude right here is going to give us tickets to go.
You just have an endless supply of Blink-182 tickets.
That's pretty cool.
That's a pretty sick claim.
That's a really sick claim. So that has nothing to do with us, but I thought that was a cool,
I love that.
A cool thing to mention. And you guys you got to work with Travis Barker though. By the way, when's that gonna happen? He's working with so many people. I want to see.
I actually have a release with Travis Barker already.
Oh really? Which one is it?
I did a song with Make Out about a year ago. And Travis Barker ended up producing and playing drums on the track that we wrote.
That's awesome.
Which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that their first song back?
I think so, with the new vocalist.
Yeah.
It's called Home.
Yeah. It was. That was it.
Yeah, that was written by me and a couple of the dudes.
Nice. See, there you go again. You're always writing stuff, keeping busy. Well, dude, I'm glad that throughout the years you've moved from Australia to here, and you've been able to follow your career. That's really exciting and awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, from when we first met in 2016 to now, 3 albums later, 1 pandemic down. You got a marriage on the way, a dog. So I'm glad we could catch up today, dude. Thank you for chatting. I'm glad that our dogs could meet. It didn't last long in here because they kind of got a little rambunctious. And at one point, I think they pushed the door open because it doesn't close all the way.
Is that what they did?
So I think they started running back around in here.
Well, they're having a good time.
Jayden, appreciate you talking. The new self-titled album, it is here. And you have so many songs that you're working on, that you are writing, producing with other artists. And that's dope. But for now, let's go see what these dogs are up to because they haven't been barking, which I think is a good sign. So, yeah, dude. Thanks for chatting. Glad you've been well and coming out of this pandemic in a good spot and getting a much needed break from touring to focus on the behind the scenes stuff that you enjoy so much.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks,
with confidence, everybody. Oh, wait, the light's in front of my face. Here we ready?
Here we go.
With confidence, everybody. And that's where I guess we'll end this thing. Woo! You feel like we covered everything?
We covered everything. Dude, you did your research.